Hey, all right. Before I get started, I'm obviously just gonna make sure that we're streaming into the right group and that I am indeed live. Gotta make sure it's all working. How are you guys? How's your Monday so far? Let me know. It is like dreary and sad and cold. Not cold. It's like above 32, but that's why it's raining. Oh, guys, it's insane. Okay, it looks like I'm live. I can stop rambling about random stuff. All right. How are you guys doing? So, if you missed it on Friday, I opened doors for my brand new monthly membership, Love Your Journey. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that link really quick for you guys. Um, but this is my monthly membership. This is gonna be a personal development membership. Let's see if I copy it into the comments. Okay. I threw it in there. Perfect. Okay, you guys can check that out. But anyway, I am going to come and show. So let me start over. Basically, in this membership, every single month you're going to get a new Notion template because I have found that that is the best way for us to kind of organize our personal development and kind of like get a handle on things, not have like notebooks everywhere. I love a good quality notebook, but sometimes your notes just kind of end up everywhere. You don't know where your goals are really at, what your to-do list even makes sense. So I've been using a program called Notion. So Notion is what I like to call a digital planner on steroids, I guess, because as I'll show you guys here in a moment, what you can do is you can build out pages and then you can link pages to other pages and it can be a little overwhelming at first, but once you start to learn how to use it and understand and get your own process going, it is a lot of people like to call it their second brain. So that's what I like to use it as, is just like storing all my information, all my ideas, keeping track of any goals I have, all that stuff. So without further ado, I'm just gonna get right into it. Like I said, my Love Your Journey membership is open. I put the link in the comments if you guys want to check that out. But I'm just gonna show you guys how to use Notion today because that is one of the things that's in this membership that I know a lot of people aren't familiar with. So I'm just gonna spend however long I feel like just gushing about Notion. All right, so if you're into that, you could stick around. I understand if you're not, but you know what? I think it's fun. Oh, and by the way, Notion is free to use. I use the free plan. I know there's paid plans, but you don't. I found that I haven't needed the paid plan unless you want to like share pages with other people if you're like in a bigger business and you're trying to share with multiple people. I think you can even share a couple pages on the free plan too. But anyway, we use the free plan. You don't have to buy all these notebooks, nothing. Okay. All right. So let's just jump into this. This is Notion. I think you guys can see my cursor. Yeah, it looks like it. Okay. So this is Notion. We're just looking at a blank page right now. So this is, let's see, without, so that you're gonna have your sidebar over here. I'm just gonna do like a basic run through. I'm not gonna show you guys any of my stuff because obviously that's personal, but you can go down here and click new page. So that's what I did. I gave it a title. So the cool thing about Notion is you can completely customize this. So you can add like icons, you got all these emojis you can add. We'll do this one. You can add covers. You can actually, you click change cover. You can upload a new cover. You can pick through all of these different ones that are right in Notion, or my computer's being a little slow since I'm streaming. But you can also access Unsplash, which is basically a free stock photo website. So you can just search anything, like we just search like office, and we can get a cute little background up here. If it loads, there we go. See? And then you can even like reposition it like that. And we got a cute little like header. So that's customizable. What's also customizable is if you go up in the corner to these little three dots, you have three different fonts. You got the default, the serif, and the mono. And then you can go make small text. You can go full width. I like to do full width because I like to make really like big, detailed things, but we will go back to skinny for now unless I decide to make it. I might because I'm going to show you guys how to make a few tables, and it's nicer to have tables on full width. But anyway, there's a couple other things over here. Yeah, I'm gonna close that out. And then you can also favorite pages. So if you make a page that you don't want to have to like lose, you can favorite them and they can end up here. So I always like to have my main dashboard, which has all my like projects and to-dos, and my current goal setting. And then these are just a couple other things. Okay, so Notion is built out in pages. So what I'm going to show you guys here are a couple ways that we can utilize this. But basically, so this is a page. You can make databases on pages, which I'll show you guys what databases are. But we're just gonna go ahead and type right onto the page. So this is very much like a word processor. So we can just type anything we want. And then you guys can you can highlight, you can bold, italicize, underline, cross out. You can like mark it as a code if you wanted to make it a cool different color like that. Okay, so I haven't messed with the equations part, but then you can also highlight or change the color of the text. So if I'm like taking notes on a video I'm watching or something that I want to save in Notion, I can actually highlight things as I'm going through. So there's a bunch of, so Notion's built up with blocks. So you have, there's like a whole bunch of different styles of blocks. So we just have the general text block, which is what I just did here. But then you can also add other things. So if you hit I think this is called the backslash, you can access all of these different blocks. So we can make to-do lists, we can add more pages, you can have headers, we could add a simple table, but then there's more complex tables. They just recently added these. People really wanted like simple tables. There's database tables that I can show you guys in a second. There's a lot in here. I'm just going to show you guys a few things so you can like get started using Notion right away. So I don't want to overwhelm you. You can basically go to YouTube and just search in like how to use Notion, and it'll give you a lot of like things. But I'm going to show you guys basically how I use Notion to track some personal development stuff in general, like project stuff. So I'm gonna drink. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna make out is a database table. So what I'm gonna do is I hit / table. Now there are two different tables, that first table that I showed you already, but we're gonna do the table view. And we're just gonna make a new one that I'm gonna call level 10 light. As you can see, I've got ones already, but we're just gonna make a new one. And like I said, I'm gonna go over here and make the full width because that is, oh, I think, no, I should just want, I'm just gonna go back to default. Okay, so I'm not sure really quick if you guys aren't familiar with level 10 life. This is basically the idea of always, you're striving to get to that level 10 in an area of your life. So some areas, we're gonna go ahead and list out some. So you could have relationships. Wow, I can't spell. Relationships. You can have spirituality. Wow, okay, spirituality. You guys are gonna see how awful I can spell. Spelling was not my strong suit in high school or at all, ever. Okay, we're gonna do, we could do health. You could do health and fitness in the same one. I usually do it in separate ones. So I have different separate goals for health and separate goals for fitness. And then let's pick a couple more. We'll do physical environment. This one's always an important one. Environment. Wow. We're just gonna laugh at everything. You guys get to see all of my spelling mistakes out in the open. Okay, I wanted to add a couple more. We're gonna do actual. So I always have an actual level 10 life for personal development, which I can explain in a second. And then we will also do, we could do finances. It could be an area, and then career. So basically, these are just different areas of your life. You can have as many as you want. Excuse me. Most people have between like 8 to 10 areas that they want to focus on. So you can have however many areas you want. So in this table, we're going to make those areas. And then the next thing that I like to do is, so these are different like data that you're going to want to pull from. So we're going to give a number for like a level, and I want to name it current level. So, because the idea here with your level 10 life is you want to achieve to have level 10 in all areas. Now, obviously, you have to be realistic in the fact that nobody's perfect, but it's nice to kind of use this as a visualization of where you are at and how you could maybe get to that next level. So what I like to do is I like to have a current level tab so I can give it a number. So you can be like, oh no, I feel like I'm a 6 in relationship, a 7 in spirituality, do 6 in health, 7 in fitness. I'm just doing 6, 7, okay. Physical environment, I'm going to do 4. I would use that one as my example goal planning later. Personal development, I'll give myself a 7. Finances, quite honestly, I'm going to do a 4. And then career, these aren't actual real numbers. I'm just thinking through these really quick. We're going to do 6 for career. I'm just trying to give you guys an idea. When you're actually going through this, don't think too hard about trying to give yourself a number. You don't want to be like super hard on yourself, like, oh, this area in my life sucks. I'm just going to give it a 1. Kind of like, you can kind of ask yourself some questions like, how do I really feel about this area? So then the next part is really fun. So I hit this plus sign here to get another essentially section. I'm going to have this be a text spot, and we're going to do next level requirements. So this is kind of like, I can't talk and type at the same time. That's what's happening. Okay. What is fun about using the level 10 life is that you kind of get to like gamify your life. That's what I kind of like to look at it as. When you're striving for something new, you can kind of, you're trying to get to that next level. So we can say like, let's see, in health, we say like, oh, I feel like I'll be at a level 7 when I'm, let's see, I'm trying to think of a health goal. Maybe this is a bad section okay, let's do finances because I am not, there's certain areas that I can't think of like goals right off the top of my head. So anyway, okay, let's say next level requirements. We're gonna say in finances, this could be like having 3 months of expenses saved up. So this would be like once you have 3 months of your expenses saved up in let's say saved up in an emergency fund. You'd be like, once I have this, then I can go here and give myself and confidently say that I'm at a level 5. Like you can do that. So this would just be like an area for you to kind of like brainstorm how you get to the next area. And then from there, you can actually plan out goals and or projects that you want to work on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make another table. I'm making all of these on the same page. You guys can make them on different pages if you want, but this is how we're going to do it. So we're going to make a projects table, create a new database. It's called projects. So let's see. We'll have a project of saving 3 months expenses in emergency fund. Okay, so now here's the cool thing. I'm gonna delete this property. That's right, that's what these are called. They're called properties. Um, so what you're going to do, or what you can do now, um, is you can link these databases. This is how you're going to do it. Add a new, what do you call them, properties, and you're going to scroll down until you find relation. And this might be kind of hard because I should be able to find it. Oh, hey, it's right here. So this is saying that this is a database under the page that I have called Notion Examples. And I want to link it to that base. And then I also want it to show up on the Level 2 page as well. And it could be called projects. Hopefully this all kind of makes sense. Once you just have to use it and it'll start making more sense. So we have these linked. So what's going to happen here is I want to show that this is a project for my finance area in my life. So what I can do is I can go in here and I'm going to find finances, and I can link them. See, now it's going to pop up over here. This is a project that I'm currently working on in here, and it's related to that. So this is really helpful when you have these on separate pages. You can link between them. So then what you can do is you can actually open up this database. It's going to open up in the side peek. You can also like make it a full page. But so then in here, you can actually start like planning out your project. So we can make backslash, we'll make some check marks. So we can be like determine how much to save for 1 month. And then we can do make plan to save more each week for the next, I don't know, 6 months. And then we can kind of like determine, here, we're gonna go like this. We're gonna turn this into a list. We can actually like determine, okay, I can do $100 per week, or I don't know, this is all kind of random. $50 or $5 per day. I don't know. I'm throwing stuff out there to kind of just give you guys an idea. But yeah, this is the cool part. You can actually like type things out. So this is a page just like this is a page, meaning you can also add icons up here. Let's find a money one. You do a little one. You can add a cover. This is just a way of adding your guys' own like personalities to your boards. It's what makes it very unique. So no one has the same board. Money. I like this one. Let's do this one. Yeah, so once again, you can have a title there. So yeah, this is where you can type it out. And then what's really cool, come on, computer's being slow. Oh, it's stuck. There we go. So then what else you can do here is you can add a status. So these would be like showing that like you're currently working on this project, or maybe you have a project that like is in pause. So we'll have like a house project over here or something. And this can be for physical environment. And what's cool here now is you can actually edit your property, and you can actually name these different statuses. So I'm going to add another in progress status that I'm going to call on hold. So then I'm going to change that color to show you guys how to do that. Edit property. You can change color. I'm going to make that one yellow. See, so you just click this little arrow over here and you get all these colors. So now I can go here and be like, all right, well, that house project's on hold. and have it as an on hold status. And then you can also, let's see, let's think of another project right quick. Read 3 self-help books. So this would be one that would be in that category of personal development. So personal development projects or goals would be like reading, working on meditating habit, journaling habit, all that kind of stuff. And so then we could have this one and select done. I read 3 self-habits. Now, obviously, I can go in deeper if you want to be very detailed on your project names. You can also call these goals. You can change it from projects to goals, and then make sure you guys are very specific in what you're doing. And then you go in here and you make all the steps. I have, if you guys are, well, first of all, here in the Love Your Journey membership, I actually have a whole goals like project setup, and there's a whole Notion template in there that breaks all of this down in even more detail so you guys can actually plan out goals. So that's a quick plug. That's what our focus is for this month in the membership, is the goals. So there's a whole Notion template in there for you guys to do goal setting if you are interested. It's super fun. I really enjoy making it. That is actually what's linked up here. That's what I use now for all of my goals this year. So it's super cool. But yeah, so this is all of that. And then another thing, let's see, we can also just make a general to-do list. So we're gonna make one more table. This is the last thing I'll show you guys. I don't wanna be on here too long. Okay, so we're just gonna make a to-do list, new database. Okay, so now if you wanted to, this is a little bit more detailed. If you wanted to, we'll go back into this saving 3 months. You can make these to-dos into, you could actually link them onto a to-do list page. So here, so the cool thing about Notion's added a lot of like updates lately. It's been really, really awesome. So one thing that you can do is you can actually pull this same to-do list into this dashboard. Okay, so let's say, okay, this might be a little confusing, but I'm gonna try my best. Okay, so one of the to-do items we're gonna have is to determine how much to save for 1 month of expenses. My computer's really not liking this. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna add a date. This can be your due date. So like when you want this done. And then we're also going to add that this is related to a project, relation, projects. Okay, so we can relate this to the savings project. We can have like do this tomorrow. And then, so here's what you can do when you're in. So obviously this, as you can see, this is also going to be showing up on this page. But obviously you don't want all of your to-dos for all your projects also showing up under this specific project. So this is where you're going to go in and do a filter. So you can filter by the project. So this way, I'll show you guys an example. This way, if you're over here adding a to-do item of, I don't know, buying paint rollers for bedroom, I don't know. We're gonna paint the bedroom, I guess. We're gonna do that on the 18th, and it's related to house project. But obviously, let's see that this to-do list is not gonna show up in this one because it doesn't have the same projects tag. So this is a way that you guys can start filtering out. The filters are really powerful and super helpful once you start getting like this like hold this thing very, very big. So, all right, that was once again, you can add a status to this as well. Basically, I mean, there's so many properties that you can add. There's so many of them. We can have text, numbers. You can do a select, so you can have like multiple options. If you have like, I can't even think of, if you have like, this is a project for outside, this project for inside, this project for dining, or something, you could like tag it. I don't know if I know, that's kind of a bad example, but you have multi-select, status. You see, we have status added here. Oops. Delete here. I can show you a couple other ones here. And then you can add dates. You could actually upload small files and media. With the free plan, I think you can only upload up to 5 megabytes. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure idea. Okay, and then you can also add a checkbox. So if you don't want to use, you can have like the due date, but then you can also add a little checkbox to the front, which I think is pretty sweet. You can actually just check them off. And then that's where like this filter is really cool. So if you add in a filter where you only want to see things that are unchecked, that means like once you check it, it deletes. It doesn't necessarily delete, it just hides. So then what you could do, I forgot I was going to show you guys this. Okay, so this, let's kind of name this gosh, guys, I could be on here for forever showing you Notion stuff. I need to just cut myself off. Okay, we're gonna add one more view. This is the really cool thing about databases. You can have views. So we're just gonna add this one be like archive or something. This is where you can have all of your to-do lists that have been checked off. You can say, I only want to see in here. So this one that has been checked off is going to show up in here because that's what I filtered out in this page. It's just going to have the stuff you still need to do. That's pretty cool. I'll show you one more thing because you can also have different database. Excuse me. You can also have different database views. So you can have a board view, which if you guys know or have ever used Trello, that's what the board view is based off of. You can use a timeline view if things extend over multiple days. You can have an actual calendar view, which is super cool. I don't let me scroll right now. You can have just a little list view. So like these are just listed out, and you can also put it in gallery. So I will often have my level 10 life displayed in a gallery because what you can do is you can add a picture. So this is the last thing. You know, I gotta cut myself off, guys. This will be the last thing. You guys want to be more, you want to dig in more into Notion, join Love Your Journey. It's going to be super awesome. That is literally that's where I'm gonna get like super nerded out in Notion is in that membership, and I'm so excited about it. Okay, we're just gonna do this really quick. I don't know, this can be career, I guess. I'm just picking some images. So what you can do now is you can set, come on, not that one. You can set up the card to display the cover. So you can actually have little like images. So that's pretty slick. Okay, I'm gonna cut myself off. Go check out Notion, guys. It's free. It's super cool. It's very robust. It can be overwhelming at times, but just start messing around with it. You'll learn how to use it. If you want templates, join Love Your Journey. They're gonna be awesome. Seriously, I've worked so hard on making those templates, and I'm so happy to share them with you guys finally. So definitely check out that. It's linked in the comments. If you guys have any questions about what I was teaching here in Notion or even about Love Your Journey, just leave it in the comments. I can come back and answer questions. But yeah, all right, I'm gonna get off of here. I've been on here for 30 minutes already. I can't believe it. This is what happens when I start nerding out with Notion. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you're actually gonna try if you're gonna go use Notion and check it out, let me know so I can nerd out with you in the comments. Okay. All right. I'm getting off here. Have a great rest of your day, guys. I will see you in the group. Bye.